Each one of us must resolve to protect and nurture and motivate every child in this country.
We joined the Minister of Youth and Culture in her rallying call for action on the care and protection of our nation's children. They are our future. They are the ones who will ensure the 2030 vision for Jamaica will be realized. Let us all unite and break our silence on abuse in our communities. Today's edition of Jamaica Magazine is all about our children as we continue to celebrate Child Month. I'm Arroyo. The magazine unfolds right now.
They were heading home, playing in the streets just like they always did. When
I'll see you again.
My name is Sheldon Bell. I barely survived. My friend, she didn't. I'm now much more careful on the road. You should be too.
330 Jamaicans died in road crashes in 2014. 99 of the deceased were pedestrians. Road users, obey road rules. Walk, drive, and ride with care. Remember, road safety begins with you.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your GIS News for Monday, May 11. 27 buses have been added to the fleet of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC, boosting the public transportation system in Jamaica. JUTC's Managing Director Colin Campbell says one of the buses will be used in the Montego Bay Metropolitan Region and 16 will be added to the company's corporate area service. The remaining 10 will be added to the JUTC's premium service.
But they will represent a special category within our premium fleet to be known as European Luxury or Eurolux for short. Those buses will significantly add to our capacity to provide charter services as well as special premium services on our suburban routes into the business districts of Kingston.
The new buses will also help the JUTC to roll out its new brand called JUTC Tours, which will transport persons on tours across the island.
What we are doing here is to provide a service for the people of the KMTR where they can hop on a JUTC bus from our main transport center any day to visit the institutions which sometimes they only see in the news or hear about on the radio.
Meanwhile, the JUTC's recent bus acquisition is part of a broader plan to increase the number of buses it dispatches daily from 440 to 460. The bus company is also looking to increase the number of passengers it carries this fiscal year to 64 million.
There's a planned program to acquire buses and spare parts so that the service will not only be maintained at the present level, but we're going to step it up. Because we don't rest on our laurels. We're not satisfied with where we are. Our commitment is to provide an efficient, world-class service.
The Transport and Works Minister told Parliament recently that the pilot rural school bus system would also be extended.
Phase 3 will come in place in September. It will be implemented in Manchester with an application of the lessons we have learned.
A police post will be established in the Spanish Town Bus Park in St. Catherine as part of plans to stem criminal activity in the St. Catherine North Police Division. While on a recent tour, National Security Minister Peter Bunting said the bus park was being used as a haven for extortion and other criminal activities.
We're going to overhaul the system of operation of the bus park. We're going to have to bring it under proper control of the parish council. We have to ensure that the revenues that it generates goes back into the revenues of the council and goes back into the communities in a legitimate way, not to support criminal activity.
Other crime-fighting strategies will be implemented.
We're going to look at a number of other measures, including putting CCTV, etc., putting a number of security measures in the perimeter area, not just in the bus park itself, but in the communities and the feeder roads around the bus park.
Minister Bunting also spoke with community members in the St. Catherine North Division and assured them that the police would be doing everything possible to stem ongoing intra-gang conflicts. Ground has been broken for the construction of a community resource center in Gregory Park, St. Catherine. This area will be retrofitted with 3 containers and other amenities at a cost of $108,000. The project is being carried out under the second phase of the Community Empowerment and Transformation Project, Comet 2, which is funded by the United States Agency for International Development. It should be completed in June of this year.
Integral to the operation of the resource center will be a space from which the police will operate so that they are not set apart from the community, but instead become a part of the community and engaged with not just policing activities, but all the social activities that I expect will revolve around the resource center.
Comet 2 is a 5-year program that seeks to promote lawfulness in 25 volatile communities in Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, and St. James. The Housing Ministry will be spending $37 million to acquire and regularize properties as part of its thrust to address informal settlements this fiscal year. Minister with responsibility for housing, Dr. Maurice Guy, says the ministry is also making headway on the development of policies to regularize squatter communities.
I'm happy to report that the secondary analytical research on squatting has been completed and a cabinet note will be submitted within the first quarter of this financial year.
The ministry will also be conducting a squatter census and is developing a typology on squatting using a 3-tiered classification system. 8 parishes have already been identified for this exercise. And finally, government is expecting robust support from Jamaicans here and abroad at this year's staging of the Jamaica Diaspora Conference. The 6th staging of the conference will be held from June 13 to 18, and Foreign Affairs State Minister Arnaldo Brown says organizers have been putting all systems in place. While addressing a recent GIS think tank, he said trade and investment would again be the central focus of the conference.
Our position is that this is a value proposition for them where we are speaking about a return on their investment and the fact that the investment climate in Jamaica has improved significantly since 2013.
Among other things, the event will feature a marketplace, power breakfast sessions, and an international symposium on immigration and deportation. Booth space at the conference has been expanded from 45 to 70.
We have every expectation that this one is going to surpass the achievements of the last conference.
And that's it for GIS News Today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
Jamaicans, for Labor Day this year, we will work together for the children. That's right. In every community, let's show them that we care. By creating and upgrading public spaces, so our children can feel safe. To play, have fun, and bond together. So come on, Jamaica, let's work together. It's a labor of love, nurturing our children. This Labor Day, May 25th.
You know that a child is being abused. Do not be silent. Stand up and rise up for the cause of that child.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller making a special appeal to community members as she launched National Labor Day and Workers' Week activities a week ago. Hear more from that assignment and others in Jamaica House Weekly.
On Jamaica House Weekly, Prime Minister urges public sector workers to stick with government's economic reform program. Read Across Jamaica Day 2015 is a success, and the Prime Minister welcomes U.S. medical ship to the island.
I ask the workers of Jamaica to remain engaged with the government, as together we seek to increase the size of the workforce and create greater social and economic opportunities for all our people.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller appealing to public sector workers to stay the course of the Economic Reform Program ERP. She was speaking during last Monday's launch of National Workers' Week activities. Workers' Week 2015 will run from May 17 to 23 with a focus on workplace safety and health. And last Monday, the Prime Minister also launched National Labour Day activities, which is to be observed on March 25. This year's theme is Labour of Love, Nurturing Our Children, with special emphasis on creating child-friendly spaces in communities across the island. Prime Minister Simpson Miller used the occasion to call for greater care and protection of the nation's children.
Any law that we can bring that will ensure parents will think twice to hurt a child, we are to do it.
By Tuesday, the Prime Minister was at the Jamaica House Basic School for Read Across Jamaica Day.
The sea so calm, the air so fresh, the sun so warm. I cast the net and sang a song.
Mrs. Simpson Miller also lauded Jamaican authors for their work in bringing quality books to the nation's children. Last Wednesday, the Office of the Prime Minister said Jamaica was making representation to help resolve the intellectual property rights issue that will force local cable operators to stop broadcasting unlicensed content. The Broadcasting Commission recently gave local cable operators until May 31 to stop showing 19 cable channels for which they do not have a license. It's the first phase of a wider compliance enforcement to address a longer list of channels and content for which local operators either have not been able to or unwilling to secure transmission rights. In a statement, the OPM said the matter was a trade issue and the government was engaged in bilateral discussions with the U.S. and Caribbean trade representatives to resolve it. There is also a proposal for a meeting to be held as soon as possible between United States rights holders and regional cable operators. In the meantime, the OPM has clarified that the regulatory action was not prompted by discussions during the recent visit of U.S. President Barack Obama and is not the result of an escalation in a trade issue internationally. On Thursday, Mrs. Simpson Miller launched the Local Economic Development Support Program in Ochiria, St. Anne. She said priority focus would be given to the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in communities across the country. The Local Economic Development Support Program is being undertaken by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development through the Social Development Commission. Under the program, community members are being provided with training, business plan development and networking to start or expand their operations. And Mrs. Simpson Miller also made her presence felt at Europe Day celebrations Thursday evening. The Prime Minister was joined by Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Senator A.J. Nicholson, who brought greetings on the government's behalf.
The government of Jamaica warmly congratulates the European Union on creating an area of freedom, security and justice without internal frontiers and establishing an internal market and economic and monetary union.
Jamaica and Europe are celebrating 40 years of partnership in 2015, with the island receiving 1.2 billion euros in development assistance. The information portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister was also engaged this past week. At Wednesday's Jamaica House press briefing, Senator Sandria Faulkner said Cabinet had approved the issuing of drafting instructions for the reform of the Criminal Justice Plea Negotiations and Agreements Act 2005. Senator Faulkner said only 10 agreements had gone before the courts since the amendments to the act were made in 2010.
The latest reform measures proposed include designation of plea judges in both the Supreme and Resident Magistrates Courts, post-sentencing plea negotiations where a prisoner who is serving a term wishes to assist the prosecution and in doing so may have his or her sentence reduced.
And Senator Faulkner also announced Cabinet's approval of board appointments for 3-year terms. They are the Institute of Jamaica, the Cannabis Licensing Authority, the PIOG, and the Students' Loan Bureau. And the Prime Minister also took some time to welcome a delegation from the United States naval ship Comfort. The hospital ship is docked here to give needy Jamaicans free medical services, conduct professional medical exchanges, and engage in community outreach projects at schools across the island. Personnel from the ship are providing medical services at the National Arena Complex and the Maxfield Park Health Center between May 6 and 13, starting at 8:30 each morning. And that's it for this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for the latest stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
I say be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them.
Parents, keep your children safe and protected. Stay alert and be aware of where your children are at all times. Submit the latest photo of your child to his or her school. Know what's happening with your child. Listen to them when they say they don't feel comfortable going to a certain place or being around certain persons. Act quickly when your child tells you he or she has been touched inappropriately or approached with unwanted requests. Be the change. Help us protect our children. For more information, call 1-888-776-8328 or 1-876-878-2882.
This year, National Labor Day activities will place a special emphasis on creating child-friendly spaces in communities across the island. Key cabinet ministers integral to the successful staging of National Labor Day on Monday, May 25, have joined Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller's appeal for a unified approach to childcare and protection.
Little child, dry your crying eyes. How can I explain the fear you feel inside?
They are among the most vulnerable groups in the society. And a unified approach to protecting their well-being is of the utmost importance to the health and the stability of our nation.
I again implore all Jamaicans to embrace the foundations on which Labor Day has been established. Community spirit, volunteerism have all been at the heart of what we do on Labor Day. Each of us must commit to taking on an activity this Labor Day that speaks to the protection of our children and youth. Just as importantly, please bear in mind that the protection of our children goes well beyond meeting their physical needs, such as for shelter, education, and health. It also involves nurturing, it involves love, it involves kindness, and it involves families. And I know that my Prime Minister often says that people accuse her of hugging too much. But she hugs because sometimes people have never been hugged in their life. So I would also implore you to follow the example of our Prime Minister and just hug somebody, even today.
Listen to the voices.
My ministry, the programs and service for young people range from career development to employment facilitation, as well as training and certification. Child labor provisions are also going to be addressed in the OSHA legislation, with emphasis on access to good quality education in order to prevent child labor. But, ladies and gentlemen, and young people, more must be done, especially to make Vision 2030 development goals meaningful to children and engage their interests and involvement. This is why I am glad that this Labor Day, the national task will be to recommit to creating a safer, more responsive and supportive environment for children and young adults. In particular, I want us to remember and focus on children and young people with disabilities and special needs.
Shala, shala, shala-la-la-la-la. Love to see the children play. Shala-la-la-la-la. Sleep in the night and play at day. Shala-la-la-la-la.
Labor of love, nurturing our children, could not have been a more appropriately chosen theme. I see it as a challenge to all of us to prove our love and care for our children and truly take tangible steps to protect them daily. We must regain that sense of vigilance and responsibility, where a village truly raises a child, not just this Child Month, but every day of every year. I endorse Labor Day 2015 and encourage every Jamaican adult to come out and do something practical to bring light into the lives of our children.
For Labor Day this year, we will work together for the children. That's right. In every community, let's show them that we care. By creating and upgrading public spaces.
There is no vaccine for the chikungunya virus. If you've been infected, take paracetamol such as Panadol, Cetamol, and Tylenol to reduce pain and fever. Sleep under mosquito netting and get plenty of rest. Take showers or sponge baths in room temperature water to lower fever, especially in children, and drink lots of fluids to prevent dehydration. If your symptoms worsen, go and see a doctor. Do not take aspirin as this could cause bleeding, and never use rubbing alcohol. To learn more, call 1-888-1-LOVE. That's 1-888-663-5683.
The violence that is being brought to our attention is barbaric and destructive, and we should take a stand and resolve to stop it. I'm asking all Jamaicans to get involved. And if you want to get involved, you can call 1-888-PROTECT, and you can volunteer and you can get involved with the work that we're doing.
Even as we strive to safeguard our children, we also want them to become well-adjusted adults contributing to our nation's development. Here's one way we can achieve that goal.
Ask a child where money comes from, and you'll get all kinds of answers.
Trees, Mommy's purse, Daddy's pocket.
Okay, let's try to find the correct response.
Money comes from the mint.
A mint is where people make money to give to other people.
Adults earn money by working for other people or setting up their own businesses. When they get that money, it may be placed in a bank account. Then,
they withdraw money from the ATM.
That money is called
a salary. They use it to pay their bills, they use it to buy food for the family. They use it to make sure that everybody has what they need.
Now mom and dad have to budget their money. You can do that too.
A budget is how you plan to spend money and how you earn it and how the money that you earn and spend.
You create a budget by setting out things to say that, all right, I need this stuff and I don't need that stuff. So I will buy this stuff that I really need, and that's how you create a budget.
Do you guys budget? You do? What do you budget? What type of expenses do you possibly have to budget for? Tell me.
For example, since I get my allowance every week, I budget it. Like I have some for save. I have 3 envelopes, one for save, one for spend, and one for give.
Right.
I put the give in, I put some, say for example, I have $300. I get $300, so I put $100 in give, $100 in spend, and $100 in save. And that's how I budget my money. So when I want to buy something, I look in my spend box to see if I have enough money. And if it's going to clear me out, I know I'm not going to spend it.
Okay.
And for give, I would give it to churches or the Salvation Army. Mommy gives me money to spend for my spend, like for food and other costs. And I budget how much money I'm going to spend for how much water I need to buy, how much food and what food I'm going to eat, and what exact restaurant.
What about you, Tahi? Do you budget?
Yes, I would budget every day, and every time if I want to go to a movie, I would budget it, what I would want to spend.
Now, what values we teach our children is up to the household they're raised in.
We would budget everything we do. If mom asks me what do I want, I would say I would want nachos, and she would withdraw some money, she would have it saved and she would give me the money. All right, she would be like, all right, this is your allowance, you use this, you buy what you want, and I buy what I want.
Okay, but you can't have everything. You have to choose what you want.
Yes, and if I have change, I save it.
How does the government get money?
They trade with other countries
and they get money by selling or produce like bauxite and those that they used to make aluminum. And they have tourism that they use to invite tourists over to Jamaica for there to spend their foreign exchange.
Foreign exchange is money from other countries like Canadian or US dollars or the pound sterling.
So apart from tourism and bauxite and getting foreign exchange, Tahid, which other way does the government get money?
Taxes.
Right. You have any example of any tax?
GCT, environmental taxes, educational taxes.
Where do you pay GCT normally?
In a store.
All right, so you maybe go to like the supermarket or so and you pay the GCT.
Government spends money to improve the country, to fix roads, care for the sick, run schools, and a number of other things.
What's the difference between a piggy bank and an actual bank?
You do not get interest in your piggy bank, you get interest in the bank.
Right.
And interest is something they put onto your money so it can get larger.
The actual bank and the piggy bank. The piggy bank now, you can't actually grow any money from it, but the bank, it adds money on it gradually.
Children, this money thing isn't so hard to understand after all, don't it? Talk to an adult about it and read books that will carefully explain the world of money.
The call to action is for parents to start considering seriously, how can I practice money management in my own life for the sake of my child getting it right? And from that point on, the reinforcement comes, the second thing is to reinforce it with the child. Simply, when you go to the grocery store, one of the ways in which you can start is to take a simple budget with you and show your child that you live within your means.
Be an active participant in your child's life. Spend time with your child. No phones, no television, no distractions, just the two of you. Get to know your child through play. Why not go to the park and get on the monkey bars? Sharing a meal can also be a time of bonding. If your child's in school, be involved in school activities. Speak with your child's teacher, follow up on their progress in school and see how you can help. Assist them with homework. Attend parent-teacher meetings and support school fundraising events. Remember, your child's future is in your hands. Safeguard it.
So glad you are a child of mine.
And that's our show. Be sure to join us tomorrow, same time on this station. If you've missed aspects of today's program, check our website, jis.gov.jm. You may also visit our YouTube and Facebook pages for up-to-date info on government plans, policies, and programs that seek to improve our daily lives. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Arroyo Eubanks. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.